Stop and think about this. About 1/3 of Americans still do not have broadband access at home. And for the next 5 minutes, we're going to discuss the importance of broadband access for the future success of our students. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Joining me is Keith Krueger, CEO of Consortium for School Networking. Keith, welcome to the program.
Thanks, Robert.
Basically, what we're talking about here, unfortunately, is a digital divide between those who have access and those, unfortunately, who do not.
Yeah, and from a learning perspective, we think it really puts kids who don't have access at home at a disadvantage. Increasingly, the way that they study, the access they have to do their homework, the resources that they have to find information, they're put at a great disadvantage by not having home access.
You know, Keith, there used to be a time when I used to think internet was kind of like, a luxury. It was something that you went to occasionally when you wanted to Google something or, whatever the case may be. But now it appears to be a pillar of the learning experience, especially when you're a student.
I think it really is. It is fundamental to the way that 21st century learning looks like. And to tie the hands behind the kids who don't have that access is really a problem. And in the 1990s, we thought about the digital divide, about we need to connect schools and libraries, and we still need to do that. And we've made great progress through the E-rate and connecting schools. But we need to not only do that. That's still necessary, but we have to increasingly think about how do we reach those poor families that don't really have access, and how do we make it affordable for them? Because
let me paint a scenario for you, which is unfortunately very real with 9.1 unemployment. You have some families out there that are living paycheck to paycheck. You have some families out there who have no paycheck. They've been laid off or they've been trying to find work. Unfortunately, paying an internet bill is the last thing on their priority list when they have to pay the mortgage, when they have to pay for food and so forth. What do you say to that parent out there who wants their child to have broadband access but simply cannot afford it?
Yeah, and it clearly is a challenge. And so I think we need to think in new ways about that. And so there are about 20 school systems that have just gotten support under the federal the E-rate program, who are trying to extend access to homes for their poor families. There's also new programs like the Internet Essentials program that really provides a very reasonably priced access.
So it appears to be a number of paths, if you will, out there where parents can go to for very affordable rates out there.
Yeah, and I think that there's a lot more we need to do, and we certainly think that that's the kind of conversation that the communities and policymakers ought to be having, is how do we make sure that it doesn't matter where you live, but that you have access to good educational resources. You mentioned conversation in communities. Who should be a part of the conversation? Is that parents, grassroots leaders, grass tops leaders, elected officials, or one or the other? It's not one or the other. I think it's all of us. And I think we need to start the conversation of what are the basic rights of individuals to be a citizen, to be educated. And there's a tremendous potential if we can get that telecommunications in at this time when people are searching for jobs. If you don't have access to that, it's the access not only helps the child, but helps the family.
Keith, a lot of folks out there would say, you know what? I walked 5 miles to my school when I was in 5th grade. I shared a textbook with my brother and sister because my parents couldn't, and we made it. In other words, what do you say to the critics out there that would say, you know what, walk to the library. You know what, walk to a neighbor's house. Walk to your friend's house to get access if you so need it, because that's called survival.
Well, I think and certainly libraries and community centers do provide a very important role, but increasingly as the way that we actually do learning, the way that we actually do homework, if it's 8 o'clock at night, it's unlikely that the library is still available to the child.
And also perhaps maybe the neighborhood may not be the best.
Right.
So you're also talking about child safety and so forth.
Exactly.
And also that critical time that children need with their parents.
Right. Right.
Unbelievable. Of course, Keith, thank you very much for all your good work. We really appreciate it.
Thanks.
And of course, thank you for watching Comcast Newsmakers. I'm Robert Trainum. Have a great day, everybody. We'll see you next time. Take care.